So this might piss some people off, because what I'm about to present is, I guess, controversial to a lot of religions. I've been thinking a lot about dualism versus non-dualism. Non-dualism. I'm sorry, dualism being the idea of multiple gods. You know how I feel about that word, and that's Greece. That's imperfection. That's measurable, right? Anything measurable is we can measure it. We can compare one is greater than the other. It's flawed. It's flawed. Gods can't be flawed. Otherwise, they're just an extension of us. We're flawed in this physical level of consciousness. So non-dualism is more appealing. It makes more sense to me, right? It's one. It's one united, not united, but it's indivisible. It's not measurable, so it's not bound by time. It's not bound by space. There's nothing. There's no measurement. There's nothing to measure. If that's the case, well, what's going on here? What are we doing here? Okay. If if God cannot be, if divinity or consciousness or being can't be divided, and it's one, and we're here, that means we are that thing. We are that level of consciousness. We are that being, not a piece of that being. You cannot divide up something of that. You cannot divide or section out. That's non-dualism, right? And so the concept is that you yourself are God or consciousness or energy or being. You are that entity. I am that entity. The dog is that entity. And this way we're all connected. Well, that seems to be a paradox, right? You can't divide it up. It only appears as a paradox. It only appears as division here. But to counter that paradox, I shouldn't even call it that, I'll tell you this. What is your experience? Your experience is that you are the center of the universe. Every day you wake up through your eyes, you see things through your perspective, as do I. That's our perspective, right? We all share this experience. That is what it is. That is our shared consciousness. That's our shared consciousness. Okay? The dog has it too. The animals have it too. Everything has it. Everything is experiencing this physical world through its perspective. This is our shared consciousness. It's really amazing, and it can't be more fair or perfect or beautiful, because what it comes down to is, when you talk about equal. If we're all equal, that's a scary communist nightmare. Everyone's the same. But from this vantage point, in this physical world where I have this body and you have that body, and he's taller and he's shorter and he's smarter and she's faster, and it's unequal, we could appreciate the fairness of us being one. How much more perfect can that get? And we're here. We are the universe experiencing itself. In no uncertain terms, we are the universe experiencing itself. That's the universe experiencing itself. Is that the squirrel? Regardless, it's pretty beautiful. It's really magnificent. So what's the counter to this? Why is this such a controversial, terrible philosophy to have? Well, like I said, the ego wants to control. So you have an individual or a group of individuals experiencing nothing but their ego, right? They've identified with the story their mind tells them about who they are. Well, I was born in New York. I grew up in this household. I'm this color skin. This is my sexuality. None of which defines them, but they identify with it because they want to control. And the story, they'll identify with their suffering story, and they'll identify with their struggles, and and this will become who they are, how they see themselves, when in reality they are none of those things. That story is a lie. That story is a lie. What we really are is when you close your eyes and focus and concentrate and feel your body, and through your body, you'll experience your being. And we're all the same. And that's so perfect and beautiful. So again, when enough of these people come together, you have these power structures. We have governments, we have religions, and they tell you there's heaven and hell, there's good and bad. You have to go that road and not that road. When in reality, there are none of these things. There's just truth and non-truth. And if you work in accordance with truth, you will flourish and you will manifest your body and you'll manifest your environment, because that's what we're capable of. We're infinite and we're divine. But if we don't, if we fall for the lie our mind tells us, and the lie the television tells us, and the internet, and the news stations, all these lies, all this nonsense, well, then you're going to be controlled. You're going to be controlled. And now we see the detriment. It's no wonder why we're so unhealthy. It's no wonder why people are suffering so much. People are confused. They're lost. They haven't tuned into their divinity. They haven't tuned into their timelessness, their greatness. We have to treat each other as one. Love your neighbor as yourself. Why? I just told you. Because we're one. Literally, not just connected, one. It's amazing. There's a lot of counterculture to that philosophy. They'll call it blasphemy to say that you are the consciousness of God yourself. You yourself are divine. If you are honest with yourself and looking for truth, their anger or the backlash to this philosophy, it's so evidently coming from ego. Because there's nothing wrong with exploring these philosophies. And if someone is offended by your exploration, you know where they're coming from. And that's control.